Hey, hope all is well. Hope everybody doing well today. Want to go live for a few minutes, tap in with y'all, see how everybody doing. I figured I'd go live from outside today. My little ones got me this real cool tripod for my live streams for my birthday the other day. I really appreciate them for that. They was thinking about their papa, and they went and got me one of these here tripod things. So I was like, you know what? Let me stay outside for this live where my phone could stay cool. And okay, that's fine. Let me go live for right now, outside where I can stay a little cooler than going live from my truck. Cause it be getting warm in there. You know what I'm saying? It be getting real warm. I'm gonna wait a few more minutes for a couple more people to join. Oh, you know what? I forgot my water. Y'all hold on real quick. I forgot my water. Hold on. All right. For sure. For sure. Y'all welcome into the building. Y'all get good and comfy. You know, I be liking to have y'all notepads and y'all pens with y'all. This gonna kind of be a carryover from the last live I did. Okay. It's gonna be a carryover. Let me take a little swig of my water. Nothing like some good abazuti. Some good old abazuti. Y'all ever heard it called that before? Water called abazuti? That's a Mississippi thing. For sure. Y'all come on in. I just want to tap in with y'all for a few minutes. That's all. I got a few big announcements. And then I want to talk about some childhood traumas and how to heal from them so that you can prepare yourself forward into your blessings. So this is a carry on, from last week's live. I should say a couple weeks what was that? A couple days ago live? Yeah, so I think it was a couple days ago. But nonetheless, it's a carry on. So as y'all come in, if you notice, I'm not the type to be like and subscribe and all of that. But I'm starting to realize that the more y'all like a video, the higher in the algorithm it'll go. So I ain't gonna ask y'all to subscribe if you ain't subscribed yet, because I don't even call subscribers subscribers. I say we supporters. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, um, y'all do me a favor and just like the video, and that way it'll go higher into the algorithm as it's supposed to. But that's probably the only time y'all gonna hear me ask y'all to do that, cause the way I feel about it, whoever's supposed to be led to the channel will be led to it anyway. Whoever's supposed to, you don't gotta ask nobody to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? People gonna do what they want to do. So it's cool as it go. It's cool as it go. I'm gonna wait a couple more minutes. Let me see, maybe a few more seconds, and then we'll get started. For sure, for sure. But I hope everybody doing well. Before I get on these lives, I pray. Like I told y'all before, man, praying without ceasing is most important in doing what we do. Pray without ceasing, because that's your connection to the Most High. You know, it's a form of meditation where you can look within. Uh, if you was to ask me my philosophy on the Most High and how that whole connection works, well, all the ancient books, well, at least the ones that I read, they talk about the Most High being within each and every one of us. That's why it's so important to take care of our body. See, back then the body was called a temple. It was called a vessel. Today a body is called an avatar. Okay? If you remember the movie Avatar, the whole point of Avatar wasn't the planet that they flew to. That was part of it. Remember, this country sent a bunch of space pioneers and scientists and soldiers to this planet, right? Well, when they got to the planet, they already knew that they wasn't going to be able to survive on the planet like here on Earth. If you look behind me, all that lushness, all that green, but they wasn't going to be able to survive on that new planet the same way we survive here. Well, that's what I'm about to touch on real quick. See, us here in this planet, we have avatars too. It's called our bodies. We not from here, and we wouldn't be able to survive here if we didn't have these bodies. Most of us, all of us would be invisible for the most part, because this is a third density. This is a three-dimensional physical realm. So just to even be here on Earth, you need an avatar. Okay? Just to even be here on Earth. Now, if you're a child of the Most High, then that means this avatar is the temple of the Most High. The temple of the Most High, the body, the vessel of the Most High. And 7.8 billion people on Earth. This is how we look at this idea that they say, well, the Most High is omnipresent. Omnipresent means to be everywhere at once. Okay, that's what omnipresent means. It means everywhere at once, right? So a child gonna be like, Mama, how is God everywhere at one time? Well, that's not a hard question to answer when you realize that in this creation, all things were created by God, okay, for God, and they came from the mind of God, right? So that's one of the reasons I don't deal with, really praying to the universe, because in my understanding of the creation, I look at the universe as a created thing myself, okay? Just like a rock, a stone, a tree, this grass, the universe was created as well. So that's why I don't pray to the universe. I know that there's a universal consciousness, just like there's a consciousness in the grass and the trees. The other day, I had my family out in the land. I asked a tree to touch my shoulder, okay? I asked the tree, hey, tree, hey, little one, if you can hear me right now, go ahead and touch my shoulder. I stood next to the tree. The tree went just like this with his limbs and touched my shoulder. Everybody could tell you. Went straight on down and touched my shoulder. So the tree even have consciousness. Okay, everything has consciousness. They like to say rocks and stones, like they'll try to tell you that a little stone like this don't have consciousness. But it does. It vibrates very, very slowly, but it does have consciousness. Okay? So when you think about the Avatar movie, they had to go to that planet and create an avatar so that they could experience with the beings, the natural beings of that planet, right? And so I look, and when I look at the universe, I'll be like, you know what? This is a creation too. So I gotta pray to the one who created the universe. And I'm about to get with y'all for a second. See, the way I think, I look at folks and I say, well, depending on a person's understanding of God, that let me know how they are in a sense. Because when somebody say they want to pray to the universe, first of all, I think everybody has a right when it comes to their understanding and growth on how they pray, to pray as long as there's some praying going on. Now, some people might disagree with that, but that's part of our free will that we was given. Okay, so that's the only thing that allows me to say that. When I recognize another's free will, then I get to say that, okay, you know what? I might not respect or really rock with that level of understanding coming from a person, but I do respect the free will within that person, because I want somebody to respect my free will as well, right? So, but in that same thing, I got to go to the top. Okay, I want to go to the source. I want to go to the top. Maybe that's my entrepreneurial spirit. Maybe that's my spirit of production that's in me, because I like to produce. It's two types of people: it's consumers and it's producers, especially in a capitalist society, right? So I'm on the production side of things. Yeah, it's things that I have to consume day to day if I'm not able to produce them myself, but I'm always thinking about how to produce those things so that one day I don't have to keep consuming. And all of what I'm saying has to tie into getting ready to get to the land. Okay, getting ready to, you got to get your mind right. You got to get your energy right. When you get out here to this land, look at this. I'm a city boy, right? Look, I'm from the Bay, right? Well, look what I got. I got me a long spear stick that I made, and it flies too. it go. It's a light wood, and I took my pocket knife, and every time I come out, I just shave a little wood off right here. Or this tip, that tip is strong too. And I could go fishing with it. I could keep little animals away from me with it. And it flies too. It's sticking the ground real good. And if things get real crazy, I got me my machete. Look at that. It got the sawtooth on it. It's a real good tool, and it got a real sharp edge on it. It got a real good point on it right there. You're gonna need you one of these out here in this land. Okay? So it ain't about flexing or none of that. It's just about showing y'all, look, the type of mindset you gotta have. I wouldn't walk around with one of these necessarily in the city, but out here, I need one. Okay? So it's one of them things where when you start realizing how to rise your frequency, what's that say? Preparedness. Yes, preparedness. Okay, it's really important to stay prepared as much as possible. Stay ready so you ain't got to get ready type mentality. Okay, and that has to do with something I wanted to talk about too. Um, in this day, we all done got taken for granted how we got access to the internet, and we got access to our cloud and our iFiles and all of this type of thing, right? Well, all of that's good as long as it lasts. What I want y'all to start doing, if you take any advice from Chuju, is everything that's pertinent to you, put it in your notes on your phone. And even then, you still have to be able to tap into an electricity source so you can charge your phone up. But start remembering what you incorporate into your knowledge bank, right? And things that's hard for you to remember, take them off of your iCloud or whatever it is, and start storing them in the notes of your phone. Take little excerpts and little paragraphs and sentences. Save your PDF files to your notes. Things that teach you how to survive. Things that teach you how to, like, you know, clean out a fish. Things that teach you how to clean out a deer or something like that, so that when you actually get in a situation like that, you'll have that advice that you can go back to, just so your mistakes is minimal. Okay, like that's a very important thing too. All right, but it was a scene out of Men in Black, the first Men in Black, at the very end of the movie, where right before the credits start rolling, they show the universe that we live in, and then they zoom out of the universe, and the universe gets smaller and smaller and smaller, even though we bigger than ants and bugs in this realm, right? But in the movie, the universe got smaller and smaller and smaller until it was a little marble. And then the aliens, some being, some creatures, was playing marbles with all the universes that was created. And then they picked those marbles up, put them in a bag, and then walked off. And then the credits start rolling. Do y'all remember that on Men in Black? That was one of the first times I thought about our true stature in this universe and just how infinite and vast everything is. And it wasn't until I came into a deeper form of thinking that I realized when you hold a mirror up to itself, take a mirror and a mirror, and you put it together and you let it reflect off each other, that's when you see the vastness of the universe in illustration again. Because a mirror reflecting off of itself is going to show infinite mirrors. It's going to show an infinite image. As long as that mirror is clean, that's how deep you can look into the mirror and see a mirror reflecting on itself. And the image just replicates over and over and over and over and over and over. And the Most High is infinite, just like that. Yes, I remember Men in Black. Yeah, yeah, that's right, Awakening Goddess. So, when it comes to that sort of thought, I'm real heavy in the head with that. And that leads me to my first announcement. So I told y'all that I was working on a book. I told y'all that I'm working on, well, I was working on a book. Okay. Well, I'm happy to announce that I finally finished the book, y'all. I finished the book and it's in publishing. Well, I'm my own publisher too. I'm my own publisher. And I went on and finished everything that I needed to finish for my book. So now it's actually at the distributor right now. So it's finna go out for distribution to 40,000 plus stores. It's gonna be in Target. It's gonna be in Walmart. It's gonna be in Barnes and Nobles. It's gonna be all over the place. Wherever you get the book, it's gonna be on Amazon and all the different formats, the Kindle format, the EPUB format, the Adobe PDF format, hard copy book, paperback book. It's going to be on all the different variants that you could think of as far as a book is concerned. And the most important platform it's going to be on is on TrueJu.org. That's right. Your brother is he been working on his website. Now I have multiple websites, okay? I'm actually in web design. And I'm gonna touch on my web design services in a little bit later. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I'm gonna touch on my web design services a little later. But that kind of goes into what I was telling y'all last week. Let your gifts and talents make a way for you, especially when you come out to the land. You want to make your gifts and talents make a way for you so you can still do what you need to do to produce the way that you're used to producing in the city, okay? But my book is finally done, y'all. It's in distributors' hands right now, and it's about to go out all over the world. It's going to be in the UK. It's going to be in Australia. It's going to be in South America. It's going to be in China. It's going to be everywhere. It's going to be in Africa for sure, for sure. It's going to be everywhere. And I'm really excited about this. And like I said, it's also going to be on TrueJu.org. Okay. So the website is almost done, working really hard on the website. And from the website, y'all will be able to tap in with me. Should anything happen on YouTube where you're not able to reach me any longer, you can still go online and tap in with me that way. Okay? You'll still be able to go online and tap in with me that way. And we'll be able to confer and talk and continue to build. But I want all of y'all to subscribe to that website, support the website, join the email list. In my email, I remember reading the comments a couple days ago, and folks was like, "Hey, you need to get an email list popping." So I'm gonna leave the email in the description. It's TheRealTrueJu at Gmail for right now, because my computer's in storage. So I've been working on my website a little differently, but when it comes to that email, it's really it's kind of difficult to do it on the off of a phone. But it can be done, but it's very difficult to do. So as soon as I get my computer back and everything like that, I'll go ahead on and I'll set up the real email at trueju.org. Okay. But for right now, I want y'all to go through TheRealTrueJu at gmail.com. That's my new email for y'all to tap in with me and for y'all to join my email list for right now. And then as time goes on, I'll continue to keep in contact with y'all on any changes to the email and that sort of thing like that. Let me take me a swig of this good Abazuti real quick. Because it is hot. I think yesterday was like 106 out here. So look, what's up with this title? I made my announcements. I made all my announcements. And look, y'all, that book is so dope. My book is so dope. It's so dope. It's not a regular book. Okay, like I'm telling y'all about my childhood and about my teenage years. And I know when y'all be watching certain people, you kind of wonder, maybe subconsciously, man, how do these people do what they do? Like how do they keep their light shining? Like, how do they keep their hearts warm? Especially in this climate that we living in right now. Like how do people's hearts stay warm and that light keeps shining in them and like they seem so kind and caring. Well, I like to consider myself one of them type of people. And if you heard me speak ever before, I got this thing where anything that happened to me in my life, I like to say I was made this big and strong so that whatever happened in my life could hit me, but stop with me. Okay, I don't want to make nobody else have to go through the things that I went through unnecessarily. Now, everybody got their own destiny. Everybody got their own purpose. Everybody got their own thing that they finna go through in life for sure. And I'm not gonna be able to stop nothing that's already destined in your life. But when it comes to the things that I can help, like anything toxic that affected me in my life, I have a choice to make. I could either say I'm a product of my environment, and then I could replicate those toxic traits and tendencies within someone else or around someone else or in a new environment. Or I could say, you know what? Them toxic traits and tendencies that I had to experience, I don't have to continue those. Okay. I don't have to perpetrate those and keep those things going. I can make a decision as to how I want to handle what hit me. And that's what I'm talking about. When it comes to the things that hit us in life, some of us say, well, that happened to me and it made me this way, so I'm going to make you go through it too. Or that happened to me and I didn't like how that felt, so I'm not going to make you go through that the same way I did. And that's the type of person I am. Then when it comes to my experiences, starting from childhood all the way up, I like to say, well, I'm a glass half full kind of guy. Y'all heard me say that before. I'm a glass half full kind of guy. So to me, when I see a glass half full, I see the empty part. Like, let's keep it 100. I do see the empty part, but I don't see the empty part and say, oh, my glass is running out. Oh, I'm getting depleted. I don't say that. Instead, I look at the empty part of the glass half full and I say, ooh, I got more to add to my glass. I got more room to fill up this glass again. See, so it's always going up. I'm not tripping on going down. You feel me? And I think that's the bigger understanding to when it comes to that saying, because people, I heard of something called toxic positivity, right? Just like it's just like it's toxic negativity, it's toxic positivity too. Man, why he always happy? Why is she always happy? And they know it's some hard times. They know dang well, just like we do, that everything ain't all peaches and cream. But every time I see them, they talking about, oh, be happy and this and that and just stay positive. And man, come on, get out my face with all of that. That ain't what True Jew is talking about, y'all. I'm not talking about toxic positivity where we don't identify the issues and the ills that we encounter. I'm not talking about that because there's really some sad days. Okay? It could really be some real sad things that happen to us. And that's the part of this video that I want to touch on: childhood traumas and how to heal from those traumas to prepare yourself forward. Because that's what my book is about. From clutter to cleanliness, the renewal of a mind, a success story. I'm going to say that again so y'all get the title of this book. And listen to the words I chose for the title: From Clutter to Cleanliness, the renewal of a mind. Not the renewal of the mind, the renewal of a mind. That means when you read this book, you're going to be able to focus on your mind, but you're going to be able to use my life experiences as a confirmation and example to how you get through what you get through, why you went through what you went through, and how you about to overcome those things for yourself if you haven't put certain methods in place for you to heal properly. Okay? And it's real talk. It's coming straight from the gutter, but it's coming straight into that cleanliness. Okay? When I talk about clutter and cleanliness, it's a metaphor. Okay? Now, in reality, there was some clutter that I had to deal with, a lot of it, and y'all will read the book and see. But as I transmuted and alchemized my experience, I came into cleanliness. Okay? I came into cleanliness. Now, when you take the metaphor of that and you apply it to the mind, many of us are in a clutter filled mentality. We got so many thoughts that ain't serving us well at all. And it's those thoughts that we haven't confronted that's keeping us from where we need to go. I want y'all to think about the Bible real quick. And I want y'all to think about the story of the children of Israel. I want you to think about their journey out of Kemet or Egypt into the promised land. And I want y'all to think about that 40-year journey that they took once they crossed the Red Sea into the promised land. Well, into the wilderness. And when they was on their way to the promised land, some peculiar things happened. We would think that they would just get to go straight to the promised land because they was taken from uh under Pharaoh's hand, right? Well, if you read the scriptures carefully, well, you ain't really got to read this narrative carefully. It's right there in your face. But if you read it and pay attention, you see that the children of Israel wasn't just led from Kemet into the promised land. Uh-uh. They had to journey 40 years in the wilderness before they got to go into the promised land. Why? Because many of them had tendencies that weren't going to be suitable. Many of the children of Israel had tendencies that wasn't going to be suitable to dwell and live within the promised land. So the Most High lead them around. Well, actually, Yahweh, that's a whole nother story too. Goodness gracious. Y'all don't focus on the particulars too much. Let me just tell y'all what's happening. So Yahweh led them around because how they was living before they got to the promised land wasn't good for what they needed to do in the promised land, okay? And when you look at that story, and you compare it to your own life's journey, and especially if you was a victim of childhood trauma, then you'll begin to see that, whoa, what if all the blessings that I've wanted in my life, see, before I say what I'm going to say, anything placed on your heart, anything placed on your mind that you feel strongly about, it was supposed to be placed on your mind and heart. Any of those blessings that you think about attaining in your life, it's a Jewish philosophy now. Anything that you was placed with, because everything was for a reason in my world, in my understanding and understanding of it, okay? So first you gotta understand, man, he's talking before you can grasp on what he's saying. So I'm gonna put them disclaimers out there. Everything happens for a reason when it comes to what I'm talking about. Now, I'm not a wrong place, wrong time type of guy. That's not my thing. I'm a right place, right time type of guy. Everything happens for a reason, right? So when it comes to our thoughts and the things that we want to attain in life, yeah, we have to pray about those things. But why was it placed on your heart? Like, what's the deal? Why was it placed on your heart like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not a fluke. I don't know coincidences. So if something is placed on my heart, then I can pay attention to it. But it's something like going to the land, right? Getting on the land. If that's placed on my heart, and I'm from the inner city, for instance, why was that placed on my heart? Like, I ain't never been no farm. I ain't never been no land. I ain't never been no wilderness before. Like, why is that placed on my heart? Well, it could be something that I'm going to be moved into, right? But at the same time, if I recognize that I don't have certain resources or means to make that happen, yes, then I have to start looking at myself into the reasons why. And that's just one example. You can talk about anything, a new car, a new house, a new clothes, whatever you want to talk about. It was placed on your heart for a reason, but it might not be time to attain it. Just like those children of Israel, the promised land was placed on their heart. They could look at it from a distance, but it wasn't time for them to go to it yet because their mentality wasn't correct to receive it. When I look at childhood traumas in our lives, man, a lot of us have been through some stuff people would not even believe. And yet you wouldn't be able to tell because the person who went through the heart is just pure as gold. They just stay so kind. They just stay so warm in their heart. They didn't allow the pain and trauma to make them cold and shut down and hard in heart. Okay? And that's very important. But even most of those people who didn't allow that to happen, one of the things that got them through is looking at things from a glass half full perspective. One of the things that got them through is saying it's positive through things is possible, right? But in order to stay positive, many of us have to compartmentalize. Okay, it's called compartmentalizing or compartmentalization. Where you take something traumatic that's happened in your life and you store it in the deep recesses of your mind. And depending on how you store those things within your subconscious, that depends on how you move with your conscious daily. And a lot of us have stored pain that we don't want nobody else to have to experience, stored trauma that we don't want nobody else to go through in our minds. And one of the ways that we call ourselves healing from this childhood trauma is, first of all, most of us going through the trauma as children and young adults, we didn't even know it was trauma. We thought that was how life worked. We thought that's just what it was until what? Until you had that friend that you met at school, in high school, right? Or in college. And you might have been invited over to their house around their parents. Or you might have been invited to some place that they kick it at. And you realize life was totally different. And you was exposed to a new level of thinking and a new level of life. And that's when you realized, oh, dang, I thought everybody lived like how I was living. You mean to tell me you don't live like that? You mean to tell me that you didn't go through that yourself? I thought everybody went through that. And they tell you, nah, bruh, I never had to go through nothing like that. And that's when you begin to realize, whoa, I think I went through some trauma. I think I went through something that I wasn't really supposed to go through, but you went through it. So see, when we think we wasn't supposed to go through something, that's where we make one of our mistakes. because everything happens for a reason and nothing is a surprise to the Most High. Everything that happened to us, if it happened, was a part of our destiny to happen. And it's a difficult thing to grasp. It's a difficult thing, a mindset to really take hold of, because some things are so traumatic in our lives, we could really formulate a sense of hatred for the people who put us through those things. And I made a video before talking about forgiveness and talking about lightening the load of our heart space so that we don't carry that feeling in our chest, in our throat, when our throat gets all tight and we mad at the world and we just, that don't feel good. When you really pay attention to the feeling that your body go through, it don't feel good at all. So we have to lighten our load by forgiving those who have trespassed against us, even if they never said sorry. I used to ask, well, how am I supposed to forgive somebody if they ain't never said sorry to me? What I'm supposed to do? They ain't even said sorry for me to forgive them. And I don't like those half-butt sorries where they be like, well, I'm sorry if I offended you. I'm really sorry if I hurt you in any way. Hey, first of all, shouldn't no sorry have no if in it? When a person is apologizing sincerely from their heart, in sincerity, they supposed to say what it is and take accountability for what they saying sorry for. If a person got to say if in the apology, I'm sorry if I offended you. Hey, you going to get out my face with all that. I don't even want to talk to you about that. Sorry. I didn't already forgave you. I didn't say I forgive you if you offended me because I felt the offense. I didn't say I forgave you if you hurt me because I was hurt by what you did. I said I forgive you for X, Y, and Z. I forgive you for this offense, not if. And see, that's what we have to start learning how to do for ourselves, because that's what's going to help you identify the childhood traumas too and actually overcome them. So look, one thing about childhood trauma that I think we all guilty of at one point or another is sweeping things under the rug. Like I said, compartmentalizing these things, not realizing how deeply we was affected by them. And the reason for that is the older we get, the more mature we get, and we are exposed to different levels of life, we begin to see, wow, this person over here didn't have to go through what I went through. It's not really to compare from the standpoint of envy, it's to compare from a standpoint of actually taking true account of what other people just as an earth experience have been able to deal with, so that you could kind of look at and take account of your own life. Well, when we start confronting these things in truth, that doesn't gonna those confrontations, those inner confrontations, they're not going to make you any worse of a person. They're not going to make you less of a person for looking at those things within. Now, if you act on certain emotions that those thoughts stir up in you negatively, then they will begin to cause you to be led a certain way. And then your actions based off negative mental influence will then reap a certain consequence for you. Well, then, yeah, then you could say, okay, this affected me negatively. But if you looking at what happened over your life to learn and grow from it and to protect another from it as well as yourself, and then you can say, I'm moving into a positive mental space, and the actions that are inspired by that understanding of your thought process will actually lead you to better healing. Okay. And I don't know where y'all at in your metaphysical studies. I don't know where y'all at in your philosophical studies, but there's something that we look at called the dark night of the soul. Okay. The dark night of the soul is very important. It's a very important concept to really look at and to grasp. Now, on the surface, it might sound kind of freaky. The dark night of the soul, bro. What you talking about? Well, the dark night of the soul, in simple terms, is taking all of those repressed energies that's within you, all of those repressed ideas, everything that you swept under the rug to hide your conscience from, and identifying and standing up to them straight up in their face. Those skeletons in your closet, confronting them straight up in dealing with all the emotion and all of the inner turmoil that come with it, but from a place of taking accountability and control over those things for yourself once and for all. And the dark night of the soul is not an easy thing to get through. It's not easy to get through because for so long, depending on how far ago that those traumas happen to you in your life, compared to when you actually begin to take accountability and look at those things, it could be many years. It could be a day, or it could be many, many years. And for most people, it's many, many years. So when they have to go back to a traumatic experience that happened decades ago, it's not always easy to confront, and it's not always the best thing to do. But just like those children of Israel who had to confront those tendencies that they was dealing with, we have to do the same thing, especially if we expect to receive our next level of blessing and graduate and elevate our lives. Okay? A lot of us don't realize we where we at right now because we still got lessons that we haven't got over. Think about a video game. I ain't played video games in years, but I used to be a video game fanatic. One of the video games I used to really like to play was called an RPG game. That's a role playing game, like Mario or Zelda, games like that, where you play the character and you got to go through different worlds and different stages, and you got to beat the world that you in before you can go to the next world. Well, in a sense, we doing role playing games right now. Okay, everybody like to wear a mask. Everybody like to put themselves in a certain light. Everybody like to make themselves appear a certain way. But I like that old idiom out the Bible too, where it say, "Be like unto children," because the children are the ones who inherit the kingdom. That's what I like. And if you was to ask me, I know I say Most High, Mama and Papa, but I guarantee you, the Most High, Mama and Papa, listen. They reveal themselves through babies, through children. And that's why, ooh, them people who, oh my goodness, them people who abuse children, those people who molest children, those people who do horrible things to children and babies and the innocent, they don't know what they doing. And that's why the word say it's better a millstone was wrapped around your ankles and you was tossed into the water, or a person was tossed into the water. I don't want to say you, as all y'all supporting this channel, but a person was tossed into the water with a millstone around their ankle, around their neck, than to do something to these babies. Okay? So that's why we have to protect these babies. As that's a side note. We have to protect the innocent. We have to protect these little ones. We have to protect these children. You was a child before. And this is where a lot of childhood trauma came from, because somebody around you, they dropped the ball and they decided not to protect you and not to take care of you the way that they were supposed to, not to pay attention to you the way that they were supposed to. And as you grew and got older, you realized and became a mama or a papa yourself, you realize, wait a second, ain't no way I would put mine through the stuff I was going through. Ain't no way. And look how that son came out as soon as I say that. Ain't no way I would put my babies through nothing that I had to go through. Ain't no way I would do that. And that's the day you realized, oh snap, I went through some stuff. I went through some stuff, and I wasn't supposed to go through, but you was supposed to go through it. And now look how you a buffer for everybody else. See, when you went through what you went through, you had the strength to get through it. But the person you protecting from that thing, like your babies, they might not have the strength to go through that. That's why you had to go through it. Okay, you had to go through it because you were strong enough to deal with it. Okay, look how that sun coming out. Thank you, Mama and Papa. See, that's what I'm talking about. You had to go through it. Like Jay-Z said, I went through it so y'all wouldn't have to go through it. Okay? Now, oh my goodness. I quote whoever I need to get the message across. Okay, y'all? Just rock with me on this. But y'all went through it so that your babies don't have to go through it as well. Okay, and that's why we was called to be protectors and guides to our children. But it wasn't until you got older and matured that you was like, hey, something was not right about my childhood. Something just wasn't right about this. Something wasn't right about that. And you promised yourself, because something wasn't right about that, I'm not gonna make nobody else go through that. Not for my hands. I can't control what somebody else do, or I'm not in a position to control, excuse me, what somebody else do with how they deal with their trauma. But I can definitely control what I do. And that's one of the first ways, the second and third ways how you heal through your childhood trauma. You have to be able to identify these things and know what you're actually looking at so that you can protect those who come behind you. Okay, that's one of the biggest reasons I started this channel. Because, you know, when it comes to guidance and leadership, right? I would rather lead by example than tell y'all what to do. Okay? I can make suggestions. I got this saying, I don't tell no grown man how to be no grown man. Okay? Because as men, we each have our own way to look at life. We each want to carve our own, we each want to leave our own mark on this world. And it's not my right to tell another man how to do what he needs to do or what I could suggest for him to do. But as men, we also look to one another and we say, wow, I really like what that brother's doing. I like how he getting on. I like how he thinks, and maybe I can adopt certain things that he do that I seen him do into my life. That's why I look to the elderly. I protect the elderly as well, just like these babies and these women and these children. Okay? Because the elderly, they are libraries. Okay? They are our wisdom banks. Okay? And don't nobody make 86 years old by accident. Don't nobody make 92 years old by accident, especially all this crime that we dealing with day to day. All these decisions and choices people make to lead them in the consequences that get them removed out the way. When you looking at an elderly person, you looking at somebody that then made so many good choices and decisions that they was able to elevate into maturity, true maturity. You could be 40 years old, but when you talking to an 86, 92-year-old, guess what? They still gonna look at you as a child. They gonna say, baby, you still a baby. You still a baby. Hey, young man. And they mean it too. They say, hey, young man, young man, what are you doing? You know you shouldn't be doing that, young man. That's how they gonna talk to you and make you feel like, huh? You thought you knew it all, huh? No, I know a lot, but I don't know it all. I know y'all respect the wisdom that I've been blessed with, but it was a blessing. It's a blessing. When I was a little boy, look, I got my first Bible when I was like 4 or 5 years old, y'all. I used to go to this school where I had to learn Psalm 23. I got Psalm 23 on my chest, but I had to learn Psalm 23 and I had to recite it by heart. And then after I learned it by heart, I thought the Bible was one of them kind of books where it's like a children's book where you can know you read it and then you go to the end and you just skip to the end of the book and it tell you this the end, this how the story end, the end. That's what I thought the Bible was. So I called myself going to the end of the book only to find the book of Revelation. I got to read in Revelation chapter 6. That's like the first book I ever read outside of Psalms, thinking this is a regular book. And I'm 5 years old reading this book, and I'm reading about the moon turning to blood and the sun turning black as sackcloth and goat's hair and the stars falling from the sky. I'm like, what kind of book is this? This ain't, what in the world? And I kept reading it, y'all. Like, I kept reading it. Then I got to, where did I get to? Think I got to the book of Solomon. All right, where did I get to? Let me see. Maybe kept on reading Psalms or Proverbs. All I know is when I started reading and I had a choice like Solomon to wish or to pray for wisdom or riches. I used to be one of them little boys who would take a white piece of paper and I would write one and then zero, 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 zero. I fill up the page with ones and zeros, flip it over, zero, 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 zero. And I look at it. I say, Mama, this is how much money I'm going to have. This is how rich I'm going to be. One, zero, 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 zero. A Google error. Because Google is a number. It's not a name. It's a number. Okay? So I have that much money. That's what I used to say. But then one day when I was reading the Bible, I read how Solomon was confronted with a choice. And remember, Solomon was considered the richest man on earth. But he prayed. He had a choice, either pray for wisdom or riches. Y'all, I looked at that and I said, you know what? I want to pray for wisdom. I was just a little boy, 6, 7 years old, y'all. By the time I got to that part of the Bible, about 6 years old. And I never forget. I stood up there and I used to say that prayer. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. God bless mommy. God bless daddy. God bless my brothers. God bless my sisters. That's how I used to pray. And every person I think about, that's who I pray for. every single classmate, every single neighborhood child, every single friend, every single cousin I could think of. If I knew you, I was praying for you. And my prayers would put me to sleep. I wouldn't be counting no sheep. I'd just be praying. Just praying, and I fall asleep. Okay? That's that. I'll kid you not. But when it came to that prayer about pray for riches or wisdom, for some reason, I had the wisdom already at that young age to pray for wisdom. My life has always been about wisdom, y'all. It's always been filled with intuition, empathy, wisdom, clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience, all of those gifts of ESP. I was blessed with them. Okay? I truly was blessed with them. And I'm thankful for that. But what I realized is everybody not gonna pray for wisdom. Because just like I had a free will choice to pray for wisdom, just like Solomon prayed for wisdom, he didn't have to pray for wisdom. He could have prayed for riches. Okay? And when he prayed for wisdom, guess what was added unto him? The riches and the wealth. See, that's what was added on to Solomon. So as I kept reading that story, I said, well, you know what? I'd rather pray for riches and then wisely attain my wealth. Because if I pray for riches, I said I'd rather pray for wisdom and then wisely attain my wealth. Because if I prayed for riches, I could get all the riches of the world, but I won't be wise enough to maintain the riches that I get. And I'll lose them riches being a fool. And then I won't be wise enough to know how to get them back. But if I'm wise, I'm going to go through the struggle. I'm going to go through the grind. I'm going to get my riches. I'm going to get my wealth. And then if I should lose those things, guess what? I always have my wisdom to get those things back. I hope y'all hearing me. So how do we heal from these childhood traumas to propel ourselves forward? A lot of us have blessings that we want to attain. Like I told you, these blessings was placed on our hearts because we will attain them one day. But just like that video game, or just like the children of Israel, where we start in one level of life and we see the level that we want to get to. We see that land. We see that new home. We see that new vehicle. We see those new wardrobes and clothes. We see that giving back to the needy and feeding the elderly and taking care of the orphans and taking care of the widows. We see that we want to do these things, but we still got some work we got to deal with in ourselves, right? That's where the dark night of the soul come in. And that's where we begin to heal ourselves by confronting all of those issues that we faced throughout our lives and confronting them in such a real way that we run the dialogue and we run through the best of our ability the memory of those things, not trying to hide from them no more, but taking accountability of our placement in those things. They say that we manifest our reality, and for the longest, I had an issue with that because I used to say, what kind of child is going to manifest abuse in their life? What kind of child is going to manifest uh, molestation in their life? What kind of child? Now, I'm not talking about myself per se, okay, y'all? I'm really painting some of the most traumatic childhood experiences that many of the adults in our lives when we was children tried to sweep over and try not to take accountability of themselves, okay? Gaslighting, for instance. What is gaslighting? Gaslighting is when a person tries to downplay your experience in the thing by calling you crazy for seeing the thing how you see it. Trying to say that your experience wasn't what it was when it really was what it was. Just so that they can remove themselves from the accountability of that thing. Hey, you got to get off of me. Yeah, you got to go, little partner. Thank you. That's what gaslighting is. And most gaslighting tendencies come from narcissists. Okay? I used to think a narcissist was somebody that look at themselves in the mirror and say, ooh, you so handsome. Ooh, you so beautiful. Ooh, ooh. That's what I thought a narcissist was. No, no. Narcissists are people who do things and don't want to take accountability for the things that they do and try to sweep those things under the rug as if they are the good doers, okay? And it falls right into gaslighting. Gaslighting, once again, is when somebody tell you your experience wasn't what it was, and they try to make you feel stupid and crazy for knowing and feeling what you was feeling. And that's one of the key things that childhood trauma, people who go through childhood trauma, that's one of the key things that we all have faced, was a bunch of narcissists and gaslighters. People who would look at us and, oh, they just babies, they don't understand. Oh, they just children, they don't even get it. And it wasn't until you matured and got older, you was like, wait a second, that ain't even cool, bruh. How y'all did, that's not even cool. That's not even cool. And depending on how you deal with that, that's going to dictate how you treat other people in your life. Straight up. And so, one of the methods to heal from your childhood trauma is to first identify and keep it real with yourself, no matter how much it hurts. You got to pray on this, though. Pray for strength, understanding while you look at this. Because this, let me talk about what I was going to say and then some methods to heal through this. They say we manifest our destiny, right? Well, this could be true. When you look at, once again, this is true Jew philosophy on this. Y'all might not believe what I'm finna say or know what I'm finna say. But it was revealed to me that we are all God and Goddess in the flesh. We are all the Most High in the flesh. This is how the Most High can see throughout the world. Okay? Look at yourself as an HD camera. All right? Look at yourself as a camera system. And your eyes are the eyes of the Most High. All right? This is why the Bible says that the Most High dwells within the temple, built not with hands. Okay? This is why they say the Most High not in church, not in that building, because the Most High resides in the temple made not with hands. What is that temple, y'all? It's the body. Didn't no hands make this body? This hand was made through love making. Or this body was made through love making. That's why we have our earthly parents who construct the body and procreate the body, the vessel. They're the manufacturing line for these vessels. But the spirit come from your heavenly parent, the Most High Mama and Papa. That's why when you go back to Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, at the very beginning of the book, you see who image was we made in. We was made male and female. So what did that mean? And we is a reflection of the masculine and feminine, divine masculine and divine feminine principles that reside outside of the creation that they created. Just like a man and a woman become one through the creation of their child, the Most High Mama and Papa, the divine source, becomes one through the creation that they emit from themselves. Like I said, everybody might not rock with you on this, but I'm telling y'all how I know it to be. Okay? That's why I don't deal with the prayers to the universe again. I got to go outside of that because just like I put this little stick together, this spear, I didn't create this spear. I just went on and shaved it down a little bit. I didn't create this machete. I just got it. But it's a creation nonetheless. Okay? It's a creation. And it had to start within the mind of somebody. Once it left the mind of that individual, it became manifest in this realm. Okay? And once we left the mind of the Most High, we became manifest in this realm as well. But that thing that's created is in the mind of the one that created it, and it's outside of the mind of the one that created it. And that's why we know that the Most High is within this realm through every living thing and everything that science say is not living, like this little stone. Most High in that too. And it's outside of all of this. In a whole nother place we not even able to fathom. Okay? So when it comes to identifying these childhood traumas, they say that we create and manifest our own destiny, right? Well, if we came from the Most High, the scriptures say that when we pass out of these bodies, the spirit goes back to the Most High who gave it. which is another indication that our spirit is a reflection or a refraction or a piece of the eternal source. And because the Most High dwells within these bodies and we looking and experiencing as the Most High, could it be that our manifested reality was the reality that we agreed upon before we incarnated into this realm? Could it be that our particular and unique manifested reality is the exact experience that the Most High needed to experience within this realm in the form of us, so that the Most High could have an expansive and infinite experience for itself? Mm, I say yes. But I asked y'all that question so you could think for yourself. I love this type of thought because that's how I've been able to get to this far in my life. I hope that one day I get to be a 96, 102-year-old. I know most people like, I don't want to live that long. Hey, they just not living right now. Because when you realize that you got a whole lifetime of wisdom to share and pass down, you should want to live as long as you can, because you don't know who is going to be a benefactor of that experience and that wisdom. That's just my opinion, though. That's just how I feel. Okay? So one solution to overcome childhood traumas is confrontation. Actually confront those things you've been trying to hide. The best way to confront is think about these things and then write them down on paper. You have to make space in your mind. Write them down on paper or write it down into your notes in your phone. Just write it down. Next thing you can do is create videos like this, where you begin to talk about these things, right? Or if you're a musician or a recording artist, you can write these things down and make songs from them. You can rap about them. You can sing about them. Okay? Anything that allows you to record your experience and then listen to your own voice in that thing is what I suggest to do. When you can play it back or you can watch it over and you can hear yourself and see yourself identifying your own trauma, you can begin the healing process. Okay? And I'm just keeping it 100 with you. When you get to the point where you're comfortable enough to share those experiences with others, then you can publish those experiences in a book, and that will help you heal. That will help you heal because you begin to realize that other people have experienced similar things as you, and you really not alone. Now, everyone has a unique experience, right? What I went through isn't going to be exactly like what you went through. But the fact that we both went through something will help us resonate with one another's experience, especially when we went through things that wasn't typical of what a normal childhood might entail, or especially when we went through things that wasn't typical of a normal teenager years or a normal young adult years. Okay? So remember to pray in everything. Remember to really pray for strength that you can confront these things in truth, because you're going to need all the strength you can muster up and get. It's going to make you cry. It's going to make you angry. It's going to make you upset. Do your best not to compare to nobody else for envy's sake. You know, it's easy to fall into that trap, to envy somebody else's experience. Don't do that. And the way you stop doing that is you say, I got this little saying. Let me see if I can find it in my notes real quick. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Because I wrote this down and it was so powerful. And I was like, whoa, let me share this with folks. Because I think if people got a chance to really think about this in a good way, that might heal a lot of people. I got one saying where I say, I'm grateful for being wise, and I thank you for making me wise to recognize the gratitude within. I say that again. I'm grateful for being wise, and I thank you for making me wise to recognize the gratitude within. So, first of all, I'm thankful for being wise, right? I'm grateful for being wise, but I had to be wise enough to realize that I was even grateful. Okay? Then I got this other saying. I got this other saying. Let me see if I can find it. This is a good one too. And then we gonna wrap this live up. But this is a good one. Oh, here it goes. Here it goes. Thank you. Thank you, Mama and Papa. Check this out. So this is a mantra that I wrote. And I want y'all to really think about this mantra real quick. And it goes like this. This will help you with your childhood traumas too. I accept what happened to me as a part of my unique experience. Okay? I accept what happened to me as a part of my unique experience. Or I accept what I've gone through in my life as a part of my unique experience. Okay? I accept what happened in my life over the course of my life as a part of my unique experience. And when you start looking at your life like that, guess what'll happen? You realize that you had a unique experience in this life, but you also got a story and a testimony to tell that's catered and custom just for you. And when you realize that you have a story and a testimony to tell too, you won't feel like you don't deserve to tell your story and your testimony. And you'll begin to confront what you need to confront within yourself so that you can begin to heal from that. And you can begin to not only heal, but help someone else through their healing process as well too. Okay? So, before we wrap this up, I just want y'all to know your TheRealTrueJu book is finally done. From clutter to cleanliness, the renewal of a mind, a success story. And in this book, I tell y'all a lot about my childhood. Not everything, but just enough for you to see that, wow, bro, Chu really been through some things, but he still want to live in the light. He still want to keep his heart warm. He still want to be as pure as possible, just like those little children, because it's so important. Being childlike help us with our imagination. Being childlike help us with our creativity. Being childlike keeps love in our heart. Okay? Being old and bitter, that ain't fun for nobody. Being old and bitter will stop you from helping somebody. Being old or bitter will stop you from giving that thing that you should give freely and wanting to put a price on everything. Or stopping you from giving information that should be given to help somebody else and say, hey, not before you pay me $5 for it. You got to pay me $10 for this piece of information, buddy. And then I'll tell you, nah, that's old and bitter. I'm good. I would rather share from the kindness of my heart. If it resonate on me, because before every live, before every video I put on this YouTube channel, I got to pray that the Most High Mama and Papa guide my speech and guide me the way I'm supposed to talk to y'all. I didn't think I would have to say this, but I'm gonna just say it. What I just said this. Have y'all noticed that I don't cuss? Have y'all noticed that I don't say no cuss words in my videos at all? You could look at any. Now, is it wrong with cuss words? Yeah, man. Is it? I'm just talking about me. If you look at any one of my videos, y'all, you will not hear a single cuss word or derogatory statement made. Not a one. Not a one. You know why? Because I must hold myself to a high standard. If I'm going to be a light to all my folks, to all my supporters, to everybody who's been led to this channel, I always have to click, is this for children or not for children? And I have to click not for children, not because I'm out here cussing like a sailor and going dumb, but because the content and the types of things that I speak on, they are for those with open minds. They are for those that are adults, but also for the children. Like, for instance, I don't say nothing to y'all I ain't said to my own. Okay? My youngest is 5, my oldest is 13. Ain't nothing I don't say to y'all that I don't say to them. Okay? So let's just get that clear and straightened right there. But when it comes to what can be replayed, what can be recorded and then re-accessed, I don't want to say nothing ill. And then, well, I say a lot of things that's out of this world. But I'm talking about in my speech and how I deliver it. I don't want to stain nobody's conscience with anything that I've said that could be considered or construed as being foul language. Okay? So if you notice, I don't even use what's called cuss words. Nope. Not on here. Not on here. And that goes into me praying about how I want to be used and how I'm hoped to be used on this channel. I don't know sometimes what y'all are going to resonate with unless it's placed on my heart first. So what I mean by I don't know how y'all going to resonate with it is I have to trust that was put on my heart to speak to y'all about will resonate with y'all. That I say something of value to that y'all could take it in your lives and be like, okay, I'm not the only one thinking like this. Or, okay, I need to think this way, or I should start thinking in this manner so that I can begin my healing, so that I can move and elevate to the next level. Because we don't get what we want to receive in our lives until we are ready to receive them. Okay? Let me say that again. We don't get what we expect to receive in our lives until we're ready to receive them. We might could look at something that we want to receive, but and it could be placed on our hearts to receive, but now we have to do that thing within ourselves, that due diligence within ourselves to condition ourselves to be able to receive those things that has been placed on our hearts to receive. Just like when you play Mario, you know it's 8 worlds to the game. You know it's 8 worlds. You know it's a fire world, it's an ice world, it's a forest world, it's a bomb shooting world, it's an underground world. But you have to pass each level in each world in order to get to the next. In Zelda, you know it's a whole big wide world, the Zelda world. But you're not going to be able to go to the castle to fight the main character, the main boss, unless you get through every single step of the way. And you get the tools that you need, and resources that you need from each of those previous worlds so that you could get to that next world. For all I know, I wouldn't even be on this land if I didn't have a pocket knife to be able to shred this stick down to a spear point. What if that was the one thing holding me back from this blessing? Oh, well, son, you got to learn how to use a pocket knife first. We not just finna go and put you on the land and you don't even know how to use no pocket knife, or you don't know how to use no machete. Like, what's wrong with you? You finna be out here in the wilderness, boy. What you think? You think it's like the city? So, see what I'm saying? You have to condition your mind to then be able to move into the places that you want to go to. And so many of us is comfortable where we at because we haven't confronted those things that we need to deal with that will help us elevate and propel ourselves forward to the next level of our existence. So look, it's your bro True Jew. You know I love y'all to life. Thank y'all for tapping in with me on this live. Stay blessed, stay motivated, stay vigilant always. I'm gonna start taking prayer requests. But how I want the prayer request to come, I want y'all to sign up and just tap in with me on my email. And the email, all you have to say is prayer request. And then in the message, leave your prayer request. What you want me to pray for you on, leave it in the email. Okay, so my email, once again, is TheRealTrueJu at gmail.com. TheRealTrueJu at gmail.com. That's how y'all tap in with me. If you want me to pray for you, I suggest that be your first message to me. In the subject, put prayer request. In the message, ask me what you want me to pray for you on, and then I'm going to pray for you. My prayers is powerful, and I'm going to pray for you. Praying got me here to this land right here, okay? Prayer got me to this land right here that y'all see behind me. I'm sitting on my property by the grace of the Most High Mama and Papa. Do y'all hear me? So I know my prayers work, okay? So that ain't to say your prayers don't work. But what they say, where two or more is gathered in his name, right? That's where the spirit of the Most High resides. So you won, and as you send your prayer request to me, I'm two. And now you got two people with powerful prayer praying over your life, okay? And I'm not going to let a single prayer slip between my fingers. Y'all ask me to pray for y'all, I pray for y'all. I read these comment sections, I pray for y'all, whether y'all know it or not. Y'all know now, but I pray for y'all because it's that important that we stay as light filled as we can, that we stay with as much strength as we can in this day, okay? And every little bit helps. Look, I love y'all to life always. Thank y'all for tapping in with me. Most High Mama and Papa willing, I'll be back with another one. But until then, gone.